What is going on, my Super Sandwiches? Robster here, and today I'm joined by Dragon Ball Nation and Kwame, and today we're going to be discussing something very interesting and kind of a controversial topic that's always been kind of coming up ever since the Frieza saga ended, because these numbers became absolutely irrelevant after, Frieza died and stuff. Of course, we're talking about power levels, and specifically we're going to be talking about Frieza's power level in Fukkatsu no F, which is kind of a weird one. It's like, Rhymestyle, Dragon Ball Nation, Kwame, why are you guys talking about something that doesn't matter anymore? Well, in a recent interview with one of the voice actors, specifically Frieza's voice actor, the Japanese one, he was asked how high do you think Frieza's battle power is right now that he's at the end of Dragon Ball Z in this movie. And the answer he gave them was 100 quintillion. A power level 100 quintillion. Let's think for a second. In the Namek saga, Frieza's power level, this is also the last time power levels were measured, not counting Trunks, when his power level was 5. The last time Frieza was on Namek, his power level was 120 million, and Goku was 150 million. So now to see him grow from 120 million to 100 quintillion seems kind of ridiculous. But at the same time, we also know that he's able to keep up with Goku in his God form, not just his God form, but his new God form, as well as Vegeta, and he is pretty powerful in his movies. So what we're going to do in this video is kind of give our opinions on it. So how about we start with Kwame first, who is dying right now, but you know what, it's cool. I gave him a sense of being temporarily so he can record his video, and let's see what he thinks. Like, do you think Frieza's power level is truly 100 quintillion?
Well, I've always said this, Rhymestyle, you can never actually say anything against what the actual editors or writers say, as weird and bizarre as it may say, but I don't really look at Ryusei Naoko as an actor to take his word completely clear. But if it is, I think that says a lot about gods, and I actually think this says a lot more for Dragon Ball Z when it pertains to talking about a god's power level more, because you remember, Rhymestyle, in the previous movie in Battle of Gods, the rest of the Z fighters were saying that they couldn't basically detect Goku's power. And we had discussed previously that there was a difference between God Ki and regular Ki, so I guess you have to be trained differently in order to detect the God's Ki, because the God was on a completely different level.
Right.
But if Frieza's power level is 100 quintillion and Goku's fighting at another level now, that means that a God's Ki is actually in the realm of possibility, so there is like a calculation for gods. And I think that's what makes this kind of interesting, because if Frieza could fight a god, that means a god has a measurable power level, at least to some degree. And that's what I found really interesting about this, despite, the legitimacy of the source itself.
Right. And it's actually funny because if we go back to, and I forget what this was said, but remember what they said, I forgot who said, I think it might have been one of the Daizenshu encyclopedias. It stated that Super Saiyan 4 is the same power level as Super Vegito. So if we were to kind of measure it, wouldn't this kind of like make sense that Super Saiyan God is way stronger than Super Saiyan 4, as well as Gogeta as well, like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta? Just to kind of throw it out there as a little bonus piece.
Well, I mean, from what I would say, I'll say the same thing I've said 10 million times, Rhymestyle. If Z and GT exist in the same universe, I'm sorry, I can't see how Super Saiyan 4 is weaker. However, if we're going by the whole split universes, that would definitely rule out Super Saiyan 4 as being stronger by this point, if you're just talking about multipliers. Because, I mean, if they said that Goku in his base form was as strong as what he was as a Super Saiyan 3 and Z at the beginning of GT, then that really says a lot for how much Goku would have had to have gotten to get to the quintillions. I mean, that's just insane. And I think that even if you go from a scale from the last calculatable power levels, I think it's very, very, very hard to factor all of that in.
Right. And before I go to Dragon Ball Nation to get his opinion, I want to ask you one question. This is specifically for you, Kwame. Piccolo has always kind of kept up with the Z Fighters throughout the series. How does it make you feel knowing that Piccolo is probably nowhere near 100 quintillion?
Rhymestyle, I'd like to abstain my thoughts and allow Dragon Ball Nation to continue this conversation.
Well, to those who don't get that joke here, Piccolo is Kwame's favorite character. I'm sorry, Kwame, that he's your favorite character, but Dragon Ball Nation. Sorry to all those people who actually like Piccolo. But Dragon Ball Nation, what are your thoughts overall on this entire discussion?
Well, briefly, as far as the Piccolo thing, that can be a fun discussion for another day, because there's a lot to be said there. But as far as Frieza and, you know, him, the voice actor, saying he's 5 or 100 quintillion or whatever. I mean, I don't take the voice actor's words as, you know, legitimate canon or anything official, nothing like that, you know. I don't even look at the V-jump stuff or stuff like that as necessarily official, but I mean, the quintillions is such a huge number. I mean, if you go from, you know, Frieza's 120 million, then you keep scaling it up, you know, people estimate Buu Saga villains to be in, like, you know, low trillion areas to high billions, and I mean, I can't see that these god characters can be in the quintillions. That's such an insane number. I don't even think that GT characters were even close to that, obviously. And I mean, as far as the whole GT Perfect Files thing, you know, Vegito being as strong as Super Saiyan 4 Goku, that's something I never accepted, but that's a little bit off topic. But I mean, the quintillions is such a high number that I can't conceive any character in the whole history of Dragon Ball to ever even get that high. I mean, people have to understand how much of an insane number that is. And I mean, you know, it seemed like the voice actor was kind of pulling stuff out of his butt there, you know. So when he said that, he kind of just, you know, said it off top of his head, really. So, but I mean, it's definitely interesting that he would say something like that.
So what I was going to say is I can actually see both Goku and Frieza's power level in that range. And the only reason why is because if Frieza came back, and let's say his power level was 120 million in his final form when he was fighting Goku, Goku was able to keep up with him in his base form. And now let's also factor in transformations, which multiplies power to, you know, next levels. At Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, I can see his power level easily exceeding, because, you know, it multiplies, in quintillions. Now, I don't know if I would necessarily say it's 100 quintillion. Again, I agree with Dragon Ball Nation. I feel like the voice actor kind of just pulled a number out of his ass just because it was a massive power, and it's supposed to represent how much stronger Frieza has gotten. But at the same time, I can also see it possible just because, you know, how transformation works with the Super Saiyan forms. How basically you just keep, you know, multiplying in power, and by the time you're Super Saiyan God, I'm pretty sure your power will be even more massive. And let's not even think about how much of a multiplier you get from Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. Like going to that level, in, I guess, in the realms of a god, I can see the power being in that level. And sometimes I always point out, since people always keep saying, well, how does Frieza get so damn strong? Well, it's kind of revealed in the movie, and don't worry, this is not really a spoiler. This is just kind of breaking down Frieza's power. It's revealed in the movie, but if you want to skip this part, go ahead. It's revealed in the movie that Frieza has never trained his entire life, ever. Basically, when he was born with a power level of 530,000, which is pretty massive considering the fact that Goku was born with 2, and just to toss Broly out there, because that's another born power level that we've seen. He was born with a power level of 10,000. Now imagine if you're training, if you take that kind of power and train. We saw Goku train from a power level 2 when he was a baby to obviously in the quintillions where you can, you know, keep up with Frieza if that's the actual power level. Imagine someone who has a power level of 530,000 and then starts multiplying that. That's how Frieza is able to get so strong. But overall, like, if I think about it, I can see him in the quintillions. I just don't know if I can accept the fact that he's 100 quintillion. But then at the same time, he is supposed to be God, kind of, at least on the God level. Even though I will point out that Beerus is still stronger, but that's a whole other conversation. I could see him. I can see it makes sense. So I'm just gonna say that. But I don't know. It's a pretty interesting topic that I want to kind of toss out there to those watching this. Do you think that Frieza could be truly that powerful? If not, what do you think his power is? Or if you do agree with it, why do you agree with it? Like, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. But of course, before we end it, Dragon Ball Nation, Kwame, do you have any final words?
Well,
no.
Well, all I have to say for everybody is, please remember
to send Kwame some sensu beans.
Yes, you guys can give me some sensu beans and give me some heart virus medicine. But please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. And remember, regardless of if Kwame is sick or healthy or any other point of his life, he will always tell you to have a great day, guys.